All right, let's talk about AI's impact on jobs. We can talk about the different industries that it will affect, and how it will affect people in their daily lives. So, let's jump into some of the impacts that we've already seen, and some that we think we may see in the future.
Yeah, so I think we need to segment it by maybe, and we can do industry segmentation. So the obvious is technology is going to be the most impacted, the fastest, the soonest, right? But I think people don't understand that when a system or a process can tremendously improve on any industry, it's going to be adopted, and it's going to be adopted pretty quickly, right? The cotton gin's great, right? Picking manually picking a crop as opposed to a machine that could then do the work of 10 people, right? The steam engine as opposed to horse-driven carriage type system.
The printing
Machines.
press. I mean, people were
It
hand
was
copying,
right. Even
books.
that laborious single letter to do a whole page, right? Then it became that way, so those are fairly rudimentary examples, but comparatively, it's just as disruptive. What is happening with AI is going to be just as disruptive. Technology will obviously be the first, but there's so many other healthcare, the chemical industry, the energy is going to be, even crops, right? There are machines. There are machines now that are run by AI that use lasers to go over fields and zap all the weeds, um, and keep it, it's pesticide free. It's just using lasers to zap them all, and then as it comes back, it can turn into a picker, and it uses the AI to tell it you pick the right one, and when is it ready. They even have strawberry pickers, right? From a and that's a more complicated thing to pick because they're very soft and they can bruise, and they now have pressure sensitive like hands that can pick it and not crush it, and the AI tells which one to pick and which ones to wait for. So even if you think it's a rudimentary industry, or it's a highly manual or highly physical industry, then it's still going to be impacted, right? But obviously, technology is going to be the first thing. Finance is going to be tremendously impacted by this. Will you ever need a tax person anymore? Probably not. You'll be able to have AI do your taxes for you. I want to check it for the next couple of years first, but just to say. But healthcare, right? I talked about that being able to diagnose really, really well and come up with treatment plans. And they're seeing AI that recognizes breast cancer at the cellular level. It can read these scans, and doctors never even see this, right? So there's a lot of good happening with AI, and there's a lot of good possibilities that it can produce for humanity. But the offset of that is there are a lot of people who will not be able to upskill, or they won't
Like my sister
upskill.
who said, "Misty, what is AI?"
Yeah. So I
I mean,
mean,
and there are people they really don't know what AI is. They're not using it currently. They don't know how to use it, which is kind of interesting for me to think about because we're in technology, and so everybody that we know knows what it is, and is using it in some sort of capacity.
right. And that's a necessity, right? You can't ignore that, right? Like, so take banking, finance. Um, they're even moving AI into decisioning areas of like getting an auto loan or a mortgage, where there be no more human in the loop. It will look at you. It'll look up all your history, everything about you. It's not just your score. Like, they're even having AI go out and look at social media and build a profile on you, and then it's starting to make decisions. Right? It's a decisioning engine, for things that were always human based,
Right.
and even processing and do the entire process of getting a loan. So the things we thought we could hold fast on, and that humans going to stay in the loop. We will probably keep humans in the loop for quite a while. Not a lot of organizations, especially financial, are really comfortable just saying, go.
Here you go.
Yeah, like, because I mean, AI really is running trading. J.P. Morgan's, what are they, 10 trillion, 100. It's a big number.
It's
It's
a
hundreds
really
of
it's a
big.
really
It's
big
100
number.
billions a day, I think, in trading that's happening, and AI is running the entire thing. Right? It's too fast for humans. They're not even in the loop now. Right? They're observing, and let's see what happens. Financial modeling is all AI is really, really smart at doing financial modeling. Actuarial tables for insurance companies. AI can look at that and spot patterns in consume vast amounts of data to build these tables and understand Okay, here's a risk profile. We should be here. We should not be here. That's going to be very unfortunate because there's no compassion in the engine. It has no AI doesn't have compassion, and so compassion plays into a lot of decision making. While it's may not always be financially sound decision, but it's a compassionate one. That's the thing. If we lose, it's going to be very difficult for a lot of people because that's humanity. We keep that compassion in there and we help people like maybe this is a risk and maybe I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to go ahead and do this for them. If that goes out the door, man, it's going to be a cold world. Like it's not, I'm not excited for that. So hopefully we keep humanity in the loop as long as possible.
Yeah, but that, like you said, pattern recognitioning, that is one thing that it's really, really
It's
good
very
at,
good at it.
right?
Yeah.
Correlating data so it can consume mass amounts of data. So I think about us in the work that we do with cybersecurity, and for a threat hunter, like they're getting so much information
A
that's
lot of
coming
noise
in,
comes at them. Yeah.
right? And so being able to sift through that intelligently with an AI is a tremendous help.
Yeah. It becomes your, it- um, s- a SOC, which is a security operations center. You have agents that run it inside that SOC. Whenever you have an alert or something happens, you usually have there's a lot of systems in place already that will send that information out and the alert, and it'll tell you what it is and what it thinks is happening. But AI can be that first line. Like I said earlier, it doesn't sleep, doesn't take vacation. It's always there, and you have all of your systems sending their data. They call them logs. They log their data into a system. AI can just consume that and read it and go, wait a minute, I see what's going on. We should probably look at this, or it doesn't have to be this way. I think that's false. I'm not gonna. Well, I'm gonna look at it, but monitor it, but I'm not gonna alert everybody on it. And that's really empowering the security and cybersecurity because there's too much information, right? The most stressful, highest quitting job is the CISO, is Chief Information Security Officer, because you have to be right all the time, every day. The bad
Mhm.
guy only has to be right once. Very stressful. You're always having resource constraints. The budget's always a problem. Adding new people is a difficult thing. Finding really good talent is a difficult thing. So along comes AI, and it's a super intelligent agent, and it doesn't need to be managed, and you don't have to have weekly one-on-ones with it, and and groom it and take it on vacation, let it go on vacation, and all these things, right? Those are all important things, but there is an actual constraint in the industry for finding really talented people to do these things, right? And as you scale up, the middle tier of business has a hard time with that. Very underserved because you're taking these people and putting them, in really large organizations and paying them a lot of money. So AI can sort of democratize the need for really talented, skillful analysts and agents for security, and that's a huge benefit, I think, for the industry, for cybersecurity in general. It's a tremendous benefit.
Yeah, but speaking of cybersecurity and AI is actually even making some of the threats a little more complex.
Oh yeah.
So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, like any tool, you stated it earlier. It can be used. The tool is not AI. It's no is not evil, although that's debatable to some people, depending on the model. They can be considered probably questionably morally questionable. But the bad guys are very early adopters of almost all tools when they come out, and they create them. They're very smart about creating really really complicated or complex or intelligent tools to attack and take over. Like the North Koreans are really good at getting people hired as remote workers, and then they spend all their time stealing either secrets or data, business data, or they steal money straight up. They use it to attack and get
What did
crypto.
you tell me the number was? The number of workers that they estimate
Two
from
hundred thousand
200,000.
North Korean. They're essentially using avatars of real people and getting jobs as remote workers. They interview, they go through the entire process, and then they get a job. And that number is probably more global because mostly Europe and America. But that's a concerted effort for them, all right? And that we're using AI to help, but they're using AI to create an avatar. It looks like the driver's license match, the face on the screen matches, and it's completely AI generated image of that person who answers questions in real time. And then they ship them a laptop and they get an ID and they're working in your enterprise and they're going to do bad things.
So that brings up an interesting topic because that would be, I would consider that to be almost a deep fake, right? Where
Yeah.
someone is impersonating, someone else. So let's talk a little bit about deep fakes, what they are, and what the challenges will be with deep fakes.
So I love how these words and terms they come up with. Like fake is not enough. It's a deep fake,
It's a
right?
deep fake. It's really, really, really fake.
Yeah, it's really, really fake. I don't understand. That's silly, but it is an AI generated either voice or image, typically video, that is completely false. It's not real. Now they are doing sort of like face mapping, but for the most part, it's a AI generated video. Uh, Now it can be interactive. It can be real time, and there are people who are using LLMs attached to that avatar, that deep fake video of a person talking. Like it's us sitting here, but we're like on a Teams call or a Zoom call, and you think you're talking to me, but I'm actually AI generated, and there's a chat GPT behind me answering your questions, and the interaction is extraordinarily real. I mean, we have that concept called the uncanny valley, where humans have that, where you look at it and you're like, a lot of AI you look at and you're like, that's not real.
Well,
That's kind
especially
of fake.
when it first came out with, six fingers
Yeah,
and
all that AI has a
um,
hard time with that, and watch faces. It always has 10-10 or whatever. It can't make different time, which is weird. Um, but the deepfake has evolved really, really well. It's becoming really problematic. Voice is the worst. AI can clone your voice so perfectly. You should never leave your voice as a voicemail. You should turn that off. If you get a random number call, don't start talking into it. Just wait and listen. If it's someone who really they're gonna be like, "Hello, is this Peter?" That yeah, because they're gonna they try to get your voice, and they can clone it, and then they can just type whatever they want into an AI and make it talk. Right? That's where they're doing the. You've seen the people who get a call from their granddaughter. Grandparents get a call from their granddaughter saying, "I've been in a wreck and I need you to wire $1,000 or they're not going to help me." And then they end up calling the daughter and find out how she was at the store, and that was just a bad guy using AI to steal money from you. Give me a gift card or whatever, whatever it is, right? Um, Voice is extremely easy to clone. AI is very, very smart at that, even down to nuances. Like it'll do, it does breaths and pauses, and it'll even do stutters, and I mean, it's very, very sophisticated. Video is just now catching up to that point where it's really hard to tell, like remarkably hard to tell, especially if they have actual video of you. So people putting all this stuff on social media, they're pulling these videos of you down, and they can clone them, and they can have AI run it, and it's you. What's really concerning is that they're using that in the porn industry, right? They're taking videos of people that they find on social media, and they're creating porn movies with these people in them, and they don't even know about it. And then they're selling them, right? They're selling the movies off. That's very concerning. And the bad guy always goes to that first, right? All the time. The next is financial. They're gonna try to get money. There was a case of a deep fake of a CEO talking to his CFO on video saying, "I need this money. I need 300,000." It was his voice, it was his face, and he sent $330,000 out the door before he realized it was not him. He was like not even. I think he was like on vacation or something. He was just out of the country.
yeah.
That's really scary, right? That's very complicated.
Well, and that brings me to the point of something that we have developed internally within our family. I think it's good for people to have some kind of password, a safe word. Even within companies, I could see them having these safe words because it's going to be going forward, it's going to be really difficult to tell what is real in some
It
cases and
is
what is
really.
not. And so,
It's even getting hard to detect if it was actually never happened. Like I created super deep fake of you robbing a bank, and
first of all, if there's a video of me robbing a bank, think about who the person is and is that within their character,
right.
right?
But how hard is it to have a politician going on a rant and saying something insane? And you're like, well, maybe he was drunk. Maybe that's real. And you put that out, you can't pull that back, man. Once it's out there, you can't get the cream out of the coffee. Once you pour it in there, it's there, man. You're not going to separate them. So it's really difficult. And that's where AI is going to be really tricky because they're going to produce a video. you could clap off a war by having a leader say something and spread it as a rumor, surreptitiously through
Well,
several
especially
countries.
with algorithms and social media
And you
and
just you highlight it and bump it, and it starts going to everybody, and it's spreading. And then now they're not going to believe it's not real. They're going to be, oh, that was fake. Like, no, it wasn't. I heard it was real. And then that's just human nature, right? And so you're not going to be able to undo that. So those are very risky things that talking about your unintended consequences, like that could be seriously problematic. Those are the things that scare me more. Like just having, I mean, job loss is terrible. Retooling and understanding what you need to do in the world, having AI be a lot more invasive, things like that. But this side, the socio-political side, could be really, really detrimental to our future.
absolutely. So let's talk some more about people upskilling and some things that they can do. So one of the things, the way the book is structured, we talk about what is AI. We talk about super intelligence, general intelligence. We touch on robotics and quantum, just because that's the future of where AI is going to go. And so we try to really educate people first of all what AI is, but then there's a warning that comes with it. Like, you need to pay attention to this because it's happening much faster than you think it
Yeah.
is. And then we try to give people some hope and a framework to work with, and in the last part of the book. And so we give them some skills that they can learn, some ways that they can start adopting AI now. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. It's interesting for such a powerful tool for what is capable, for what AI is capable of doing and delivering and producing. It's staggeringly powerful, right? And it's at its most base level, it's $20 a month. All of them are $20. Claude, Grok, ChatGPT for the paid version. They all offer free. It's free all the time, right? And there's just limitations, like how much can it respond and how much output. I mean, how many tokens can it use? And so that much power at such a small price, like even if you purchased like Grok Heavy or the Claude Enterprise, they're like $200 a month. You build, you use agents with those tools. You essentially have an employee or multiple employees for $200 a month that can do a ridiculous amount of things. They're very, very intelligent, really good output, high output, works all the time, right? That's never happened. I mean, that it's societally, it's very dangerous. The Moonshot podcast, Peter Diamandis,
Mm-hmm.
say it right?
Yeah.
He was talking about, they think in the next year to 2 years, you'll have the first $1 billion company with one employee. One human started that. All the rest are agents that they build.
Yeah, I've heard people say, if you have a really good idea and you know how to deploy AI and agents, it's going to make
More millionaires
more
in the next 5
millionaires.
years than the
Yes.
internet has made in the last 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I don't disagree with that. I mean, it's so staggeringly powerful, and so there's such a that term democratization of ability now is, I think, appropriate in that just about anybody can find $20 a month, right? And use AI and learn. It's all of these companies, Anthropic and OpenAI and XAI, they all put out volumes of data on how to use their system, how to
Free
create
courses.
how to create prompts, how to use how to use agents intelligently. Right? There's a ton of information out there. I think people are scared of it and they feel like it's a constrained resource. Right now, it's not. AI is not constrained. It's not a restricted resource. If you pay for it, you can use it virtually endlessly. Right? I don't think that's going to last because it's too consumptive. There's too much. It's consuming too many resources. Right?
Yeah. So I was going to ask you about that actually, because these tech companies are pouring millions, billions,
Hundreds of billions. Yeah.
into, but where I don't, how are they making money?
They're not. I mean,
So that makes me question, because you should always follow the money,
well, I
right?
agree. I mean, it's a revolution when Meta is trying to steal the AI geniuses from OpenAI and offering them $100 billion signing bonus and $100 billion a year.
A
100 million,
hundred
100 million. So
hundred
yeah,
million,
100 million. Yeah,
100
not 100,
million.
100 million.
Yeah.
So $200 million just to a random AI genius dude. Like that's unheard of, right? They totally raised the bar so far. It should never have gone there. And now it's gonna. I mean, this is gonna be a problem. But to your point, what's the revenue model and how are they making? Because I don't care that OpenAI became the fastest adopted. ChatGPT, the fastest adopted application ever in history, right? 100 million people in 3 months or something. That was the free model. How many of those people are paying? If 100 million are paying $20 a month, it's still not paying for what they paid for ChatGPT GPT
Well, and
4,
to build the
right?
data
Yeah,
centers and the electric consumption
and
and
right,
water and like
chips and
all of those
everything, right?
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Elon was a good example of how he built the OpenAI, I mean, XAI's data center in like 6 months, which someone told me was impossible. And then he built the model, and it came out in 1 year, and it was super intelligent. It was not the definitionally super intelligent, but very intelligent model. Because he cornered the 100,000 GPUs, right? And you can't tell me that he's made his money on that. What is this model? I pay $20 a month for Grok. Like
So that makes
no,
me
there's no end to
think.
that.
So that makes me think that like social media, we are the commodity.
Yeah.
You think we're the commodity with AI,
I
or
think it's the groundwork to set up the need to use AI in everything, and you can't. And then the cost model reverts. And then it's going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, you want to use the API
it's
model
like
with
so it's like
us,
a
and
so it's like a drug dealer. We're gonna
essentially, right?
we're gonna give you the drugs
Give
for
you the
free.
product for free, and then I own
And
you.
then when you get
Oh, it's
dependent
it's
on it,
it's $100,000 a day. Oh,
yeah,
okay, all right. So I don't know if that's. I mean, anecdotally, yeah, you could see it that way, but they're going to have to switch because I don't. How are they going to make money,
it's
right?
unsustainable, right?
It is not sustainable, right? And they're not doing it for the good of humanity at all. They want to be the best. Every one of them is competing with each other to own this. I'm thankful that we are the leader in the world in this right now. China is trying to catch up hard and stealing a lot of tech. Europe have no hope for because they're going to regulate themselves into not even using AI, and it's going to destroy their economies. That's very dangerous for them. And so we are by far leading, but it is a race without an obvious economic model, which I don't. They're just building AI, and everyone wants it, and everyone needs it, and everyone's using it, and everyone's putting it in everything now. I can't name a regular product that is not consuming AI. Look at Canva. Canva's like 50% AI now. You can do all kinds of stuff
Well,
in it.
all of search online now has AI built
Search is
into it.
dying. Like people aren't even going to Google anymore. They're going to ChatGPT or Grok or Claude and saying, "Hey, man, help me with this," because it gives you the answer, and then it can put context around it, and it brings in other information. And man, if you've never used Grok to search for something, it's ridiculous, and it'll give you. You can have it be as verbose as you want, and give you correlative information and other things to look at. And did you think about this? And you're just like, what? It's like having a conversation with the sage. It's very neat.
Well, you can train it to your voice, to your thoughts, to like for someone like me who
It
has
knows you.
a ton
That's
of
the thing.
content
It's good and bad,
online,
right? It knows
right?
you.
It's kind of scary.
I mean, I've seen it create content when it knows who you are. It's looked you up on the internet. It's read your books, right? And
Right.
it can talk in your voice. I mean, it is very very much you. That's both amazing and terrifying at the same time. But I don't know about the economic solution and the economic model because the cost is continually going down, right? It's constantly getting cheaper to leverage these AIs, but it's also getting way more expensive to create the next model, right? I think what ChatGPT was like, there was the first model was like 10 million, and then it became 100 million to train the model, and now it's going to be they think it's going to be like 10 billion to train, the two models up. And so where's that money coming from, right? They're getting investments. Microsoft gave them $10 billion, but
Well, and most of the investments coming out of Silicon Valley and the different incubators, all the money right now is from my understanding is going towards AI startups.
it is, right. And some institutional stuff, some universities and money. There's money coming out of those that are trying to build, but they're much more university style, academic concepts for AI. Because most all these guys were at some university and they all bailed and went and built AI. Almost, I think, 201. That it was that way. And so I don't know what the economic model is going to be and how they're going to get an ROI. I don't know. I mean, it's very cheap, and everyone has to, unless you integrate it. Like I said, unless it becomes so necessary that it has to be ubiquitous across everything, then you start a cost model where you're using it, you're consuming it, the model is doing something, then you're paying for that. Your agents are running all the time, you're paying, for either in compute or time or some other measurement. Uh, we'll get there, but I don't see what it is right now. I mean, and people treat it sometimes like that. They treat it like there's a meter back there, and it's a well. And every time I do a query, the well drops, and I'm like, I don't want to ask it too much. You can just sit there and bang on it, ask it question after question after question. If it hits its context limit, it'll tell you, and you start a new chat and just keep going. Right? I don't know that that's sustainable. So it would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
It's going to become so necessary that they'll have to figure something out. Right?